Good evening, everyone. I'm going to make a short statement. I will try and answer some of your questions. I am somewhat constricted for those of you in the national media that may not be aware of this. The investigation that has resulted in the charges against Mr. Sandusky started under my watch as Attorney General in 2009. I was Attorney General until January 18th of this year. So under disciplinary rules, I am very limited by what I can say. I won't go into the investigation whatsoever. It's an ongoing investigation. You saw the comments of Attorney General Linda Kelly, and particularly since it is always an ongoing investigation, I will stay as far away as I possibly can. I make my observations as Governor of Pennsylvania in the interest of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and also as an ex officio board member of the Board of Trustees. I will not go into the details of the deliberations and the ongoing deliberations of the Board of Governors. That will be for the President and Vice President of the Board, and for Rod Erickson, who is the now President of the University, to make the statements upon the conclusion of the deliberations of the Board. Universities are, by their nature, larger than any one figure. Penn State will, I believe, I'm convinced of this, will continue in its excellence, in its reputation, in the tradition of its excellence in education. The Board acted, as I said yesterday, and on a couple days before that, swiftly and decisively. The actions, this week's actions that show that Penn State ultimately is governed by a board that represents a cross-section of the people, cross-section of Pennsylvania, and that is how it should be. Certainly, every Pennsylvanian who has any knowledge of this case, who has read the grand jury report, feels a sense of regret and a sorrow to also see careers end. But we must keep in mind that when it comes to the safety of children, there can be no margin for error, no hesitation to act. I want to repeat what I said yesterday in a press availability following a bill signing. This is directed to the students of the university. As I said then, the eyes of the nation are on you. They're fixed on this campus. Look around this room, look around the campus. Please, please, behave and demonstrate your pride in Penn State. Your actions speak much louder than your words, and will carry with you for a very long period of time. I believe in your right to assemble and your right to express your opinions. I do not believe, nor do I think anybody believes, in your right to violence. There is no such thing. When you chant that we are Penn State, make sure that you're demonstrating Penn State at its best. As a state, though, we now need to focus, and we have focused, but we need to refocus where it should be, on the victims. We need to identify these victims of sexual abuse. We need to find them. We need to help them. They are our children. As the Attorney General and the state police have asked, if there are more victims out there or witnesses out there, please come forward. I don't have the numbers with me, but you do have the numbers with you. With that, I'll be happy to try and answer some of your questions.
Governor, can you begin to comprehend the arrogance of power that led some men to apparently believe that they could get away with this, and what lessons should we learn from this?
It's a good question. I believe the special committee that is being put together by the board has a mission to determine how it happened, maybe how that power was centered in a few. We need to learn, not only as a board, as a administration, as students, as a society, what I said earlier, that we need to protect children. We need to act. Unfortunately, in my career, particularly as Attorney General, I've seen many instances where people who have power believe that they're beyond the law. And I don't know you, so I'm assuming you're from the national media. We've had a series of investigations, now convictions, of corruption in the Capitol at Harrisburg, both the Republicans and the Democrats. That's what happens when people believe they have so much power that nobody can touch them. Next question.
Governor, you said with the safety of children, there should be no hesitation to act. Specifically, did you think that Paterno and Spanier, they did not do enough to act? They did not tell the authorities?
I was disappointed in their actions. I support the board's decision. Their actions caused me to not have confidence in their ability to continue to lead. Next question.
What does the university do about Tim Curley and Mike McQueary?
The university, and you will have to be talking to the university itself, still has some deliberations to make in that respect. Well, I'm not going to give you my opinion here. I have many opinions, and this is not the time to be sharing that. I have to see that the university addresses this in a proper way. I would remind everybody that it would appear. Now, I'm going to back up on McQueary.
Governor, there's obviously a lot of attention on Penn State, but there have also been a lot of questions about the Second Mile, the charity that Mr. Sandusky acquired, and how they had handled this matter, had founded. Were you familiar with the Second Mile, and do you have any concerns about how they handled the information that they had about Mr. Sandusky?
I am familiar with the Second Mile. I believe there will be inquiry as to, first off, what information they had. Since the Attorney General has not done anything there yet in that respect, and charities do come under the purview of the Attorney General in a different section of the Attorney General's office, I make that as an observation, not as a conclusion. I think that relationships between outside charities and the university certainly have to be looked at, and I'm sure that that committee will look at it.
Do you have concerns about the way the charity officials handled this matter?
I don't know how they handled it, so I can't say that I have concerns. That has to be determined what, if anything, they knew about this. I have not seen, and I don't think any of you have seen, anything that anybody other than one individual connected with the charity. One individual had any knowledge.
And also the general counsel of the university was also the general counsel for the charity.
Again, I need to know what the charity, what the board members knew. And I think that's a determination that people will be looking into. Charlie?
Yesterday you said that you weren't going to make your feelings about Paterno and Spanier's actions known before you had a chance to talk to the board. Today you said you're disappointed in their actions. And I just wanted to follow up on that. Did you actually weigh in with your disappointment to the board members before they had their meeting last night?
I won't go into the deliberations of the board meeting last night. I listened to that. I will say that I reminded the board that we must remember that 10-year-old child and the other children.